What's up, everybody? It's Concrete Zebra with Craftmaster Productions and Studio1Tutorials.com. And today we're going to be going over how to write bridges. What's up, everybody? Concrete Zebra here with Craftmaster Productions and Studio1Tutorials.com. Today we're going to be doing a tutorial on how to write bridges. I've been getting hit up on Twitter by my boy Eddie. He's requested this a couple times. A couple other people that wanted to go over it over the courses I've been doing tutorials, and it's just a really good idea. I want to give a shout out to my homegirl Angela Olsen, who keeps shouting me out on Twitter and bugging Presonus and letting them know, how much information she's been able to gain from these tutorials, and I respect and love that, and I appreciate it. First, before I get into the tutorial, I just wanted to say a couple things to some of the younger subscribers. I get hit up like a lot about like, yo, like, where do I get this plugin? And then I give them the link to the fucking manufacturer website, and then they're like, no, I mean, where do I get the plugin? I'm like, dude, like, at the manufacturer website, you put your credit card information in and you buy that shit. And people treat me like I'm some type of asshole for insinuating that, like, you might want to buy your stuff. I'm not gonna front. When I first started out, I did my share of fucking, downloading stuff, torrenting stuff, and then once you get your computer crippled by stupid malware or your plugins cut out with time bombs, or you want the updates and you can't get them, you get tired of that shit, and you start taking your craft seriously and you invest in yourself. And this might sound corny, but like, straight up, like, you can't make like real honest progression until you take yourself seriously. And then when I tell people that, they always hit me back. They're like, yo, like, but I don't got money like you, and I'm only a kid, and what am I supposed to do? And like, here's the thing, like, especially it's like, if you're young, like I'm talking about from 15 to 23, right? Like, you don't realize how much time you have on your side. You know what I mean? Like everybody who gets into production, they want to make a banger within 3 months of getting into production, and that shit just don't happen. You got to put in the 10,000 hours to be good. There's no tutorials, there's no school that's going to put the 10,000 hours in for you. And the 10,000 hours, it's like 40 hours a week for 4 years. It's not that much time when you think about it. 40 hours a week for 4 years. But if you could kind of change your thinking about money, and instead of looking at something like Omnisphere and seeing a $500 plugin, and kind of see the long game. So I was thinking about it. If a young person had a job, the shittiest little job, right? And I've been working since I was 14, because I like to dress. My parents weren't buying me the clothes. I was the dude in ninth grade who had 13 pairs of sneakers and never repeated his outfit within 3 weeks, because I just worked my ass off and I spent all my money on clothes. And I look back at that time now, I'm like, damn, imagine if I was buying equipment, where I'd be. So if you had a shit job, right, and you made $200 a week, which is like no money, right? And you just decided, listen, production is what I want to do, and I want to make this investment, and you save that $200 for a year, right? So say you're 17 years old, and you go from 17 to 18. It's nothing. A year is nothing, right? From 17 to 18, you're not missing like a huge chunk of your life. You're not old and and miss your chance to be a producer by the time you're 18. All right, so you get to be 18 years old. You save up this $200 a week, and then all of a sudden you got 10 racks, right? Now you can hit up Sweetwater and you can go and get you a set of focals, and now you got some of the best monitors in the game. You can buy whatever DAW you want. You can buy whatever computer you want. You can get whatever synths you want. You can go and get the Urban Fire drums. You know what I mean? So you're on par with all the professionals. You could go and get the Wave Silver package. You could go and get the Sound Toys package. You can go and get your room treatment. you know it's just that people look at like a year like it's this crazy amount of time, but I'm off that. Point of the story is if you could save all your money for a year and make that sacrifice, you could have all the stuff you need to actually deserve a seat at the table. You know what I mean? Because when you go and you got some shit laptop that your mom bought you, and you got all these crack plugins, and the time bombs are popping off on you, and you're crying because they took the link down, and you can't find the Nexus expansion that you made this fire beat with, and such and such wants the track outs, and you can't recreate it. That's what you get. You know what I mean? That's what you get. You don't deserve a seat at the table. Because you're faking it. But if you put the sacrifice in, and you just take a year of your time to do the right thing, you could be ahead of everybody in the game. And I promise you, when you actually get into a studio and you pull your laptop out, and the people in the studio see, and you might not understand this, especially if you're young, but if people in the studio see that you actually bought all your shit, they're gonna want to hang around with you, because they're gonna be like, wow, look at this young serious person who's so dedicated to their stuff that they were wise enough to invest in themselves. This is the kind of person I want around me, not somebody who thinks that everything comes for free. So with that, let's take a look at how to write bridges. I guess where to start? Let's just start with this. Let's just start with a stupid chord progression, right? Take whack ass Nexus out, all right. And let's. What do we do? It's all this stupid shit. All right. So basically, you gotta, when you're thinking about bridges, a bridge is a very, some music terms are kind of, are kind of fantastical or whatever, but a bridge is very straightforward. Like, a bridge takes you from one part of the song to the next part of the song. It's usually, in like R&B stuff, it's usually after the second chorus, so you come in, you have your chorus, your verse, bridge, and then you'll do like a double chorus at the end, and just have the singer go off. And so, like, in an R&B song, the function of the bridge is to kind of take you from the actual song to the end of the song. That's when the vocals start getting really big, and the singer starts to really have fun with their range, and do a whole bunch of runs and ad libs and harmonies and things of that nature. So I'll just put together a stupid little chord progression real quick. Let's see here. We'll do this. And then we'll do this. And then we'll do this. What does this sound like? So boom, there you got your little chord progression. Let's just put some drums on it to make it make sense. Righteous quick. All right, so now we got a little chord progression and drums. All right, easy stuff, right? So you got your chord progression, and then you want to make like a like a stupid, easy, simple bass line. So you got your chords here. All I did with these chords, right, is I started with my one chord, and then I raised this 5 up to the 6th note in the scale. And then what you do when you invert these is you wind up with a 6th chord. So I'm going 1, 6, then I'm going down to my 7th chord. You see this is the 7th note, the 2nd note, the 4th note in the scale. So that's your 7th, and then here's the 5th chord in the scale. Like, this is what it would look like if I didn't invert it. But if you play like the regular triads like this, it's going to sound weird. You want to use the principles of leading tones, meaning that you don't want to have big jumps up into the next octave to to create harmony, and I'll show you why. It sounds more coherent when you do it like this. The other reason why you do it like this is because this is how keyboard players actually play. If you have a MIDI keyboard and you try playing these chords the way that they're programmed like this, you'll see that it's a real pain in the ass to move your hand like that. But to move it to keep your hand like this, you barely have to move. You don't have to move your hand's position on over the keys. You just kind of got to switch your fingering around. But with that said, if I want to make a bass line out of the root notes of this chord progression, the easiest way to do so would be to do it like that, copy and paste this down here. Now I can just get rid of my top notes, and I'm left with my root notes, right? So these are all the root notes of my chords, though. The 1st note in the scale, the 6th, the 7th note in the scale, and the 5th note in the scale. So it's a 1, 6, 7, 5 progression, right? Now I'll just go to Silent and find me. Let's see. Let's make it easy. There you go. Alright, so just get a little bass and shift and press down to move things down an octave after you highlight them. Let's hear what this sounds like. See here, everything fits, everything goes together nice, nothing sounds weird. The bass line is just tucked up underneath the chords, and it makes everything it glues everything together. This right here, what I'm doing, you could leave this bass line, maybe add some portamento slides from one part to another, for like a new school R&B, and be fine. Like, a singer will hear this and they'll do their thing, because you got to remember, when you're fucking with singers, they're the main instrument. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind. But if you wanted to if you wanted to make it more like a bass line, more rhythmic and whatnot, you go ahead and take this, and let's see. We'll go ahead and we'll take our kick track, and then we'll bring this to the party. You see now that I got these two tracks selected over here, after you click this box, I can see the ghost notes of the kicks, and now I could just kind of trigger my bass line with my kicks. This is the easiest way to make a bass line, is just follow the kicks. And once you do this, you can kind of decide, because you'll have the basic rhythm down, you can kind of decide if you want to add leading notes in between, or if you want to change some of these notes up or down to give the bass line more movement. That's always fun. So we'll just kind of hear what we have. And when I hear it, I'm just like, I think I want to hear this longer. Yeah, we'll take the first note up into the snare. That way it kind of carries the rhythm of this kick, like it's boom, and then you hit the clap, so you get that little neck snap. Alright, now it's starting to get a decent groove. I think that, like, for this note right here, I'm gonna take it down the scale a little bit and kind of make it so that this section moves closer to over here, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's try this. So you get that bump bump instead of just making this big jump from here to here. It's gonna make your bass line more melodic. Alright, see, so now you got a nice bass line, you got a nice chord progression, you got everything you need to kind of build a little R&B track. Now, in order to build a bridge off of this, there's a few different techniques you can use. One technique that you can use, which is like the super easy cheater method, is you go ahead and you chop these up, right? Bomb, bomb, bomb. Okay. And then you could just kind of play this progression backwards. And that'll give you a cool little vibe. So let's see what you got when you just listen to the chords. So that's one method, and then you could just kind of you could take this method and just mix and match it, um, so that you find something you like. I mean, it don't get easier than this. So like that, I didn't like that. So all you gotta do is just find something you like going from, going from chord to chord. This should be cool. Now you see, I like how this sounds right here, how it goes down, and then I like how it goes into the first chord that we use. That's this one over here. So, but I don't like how these two sound back to back. So all you got to do there is just take that, go ahead and hold down Alt, and MIDI time stretch that, and you'll wind up with this. Then if you want to get extra emotional with it, you could start doing things like incorporating sevenths into the chord progressions. So you got this one here, and you got this one here, which we know we're inverted, right? We got our 6 and our 5. And then what is this guy? This is our 7th. So what we want to do is we just add a note to the top. You want to skip the next note in the scale to get your 7th. Skip a note in the scale. Skip a note in the scale. And if any of this seems unfamiliar to you guys, just go back and watch my other chord tutorials, because it's a lot to explain. Like it's an entire tutorial onto itself. Just watch the other ones. And now that you got 7ths, this will have like an extra different feel. So check it out. And you know what? I only like the 7ths on the last chord. Now another technique, this is like pop and rock vibes, is take your bridge and scoot it up an octave so you get an even more drastic change. The other thing you could do, or another thing you want to do when you're doing bridges is pay attention to your bass line, like how I showed you in the on the previous section, how we kind of chopped the bass line up. You can take this. this bass line, right, and instead of chopping it up and making it make it a real rhythmic like that, you can have this one just be a long held out one. That'll also add a a different flavor to what you have. So that's that's like an easy, quick little cheesy cheater way, which there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, we got computers now to make music. Everybody's making music on a computer, so the playing field is even. Another way to go ahead and write a bridge, if you want to be kind of more creative, is just, okay, so you got this chord progression here. Start yourself a new MIDI region and pick a note, right, that you want to make that is in the old chord progression. Okay. And then build a chord off of that. So you skip a note, and then just kind of build a new one, and say, you see how, and do like a different movement. You see how mine goes up, down, up, so let's just go up, 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 right? So we'll do this one, and we'll add this over here, and then we'll go up there, right? And then we'll go here, and then we'll go up here, right? And then we'll go here, and then we'll go up here and up here. Let's see what we got. And then you could take that same mentality and highlight all this, invert it. Ooh, that's ugly. Let's see what happens when we invert the tops. But pretty much the point of what I'm getting at when you're making a bridge is you want to get to a point where you're starting, you got to make theory work for you, but you want to make the computer work for you too. And you want to take the thinking out of it and do more listening. You know what I mean? You don't want to do like a lot of plotting and planning on, what's the correct way to make a bridge. What I want you guys to take away from this is like, wow, here's 2 easy methods to just pop out a chord progression real fast. You know what I'm saying? And then and then from here, I've got a nice place to experiment, because now you could go anywhere from here. You could go and change this to a piano, and go ahead and highlight all of these and change it to 1/4 and slice them at grid, and now you got this to mess with. So don't get too caught up on on the whole instrument that you're using to write with, when when you're starting to write chords like this, or the fact that you're using block chords, because you could go ahead, once you do this, you could go ahead and change your rhythm. You could just do stuff like this. And just give this song, a completely different bop. And that's what kind of, when I do a lesson like this, I want you guys to, really understand the creative power that you have at your fingertips. Like, don't just go and remake the same shit I did and try to, try to make it a song. Because sometimes I'm just doing something that's really simple, and then you guys can go back and do this. When we first started the lesson, you probably wouldn't have thought of doing something like that, and it could go from anything. You could do that. You can you could take an old pad, make the release fast. It could be anything. So that's another trick that you want to keep in mind when you're writing. Just kind of start with a sound that you're familiar with, that you can really hear the harmony to, that you like, that you're comfortable with, and then you could just go and flick through your presets, or make your own sounds. But that's a really quick way to get going with bridges, and how you want to kind of write your bass parts to make them different. Oh, another thing I could mention is you can have one section that's playing the notes staccato like this. So say, let's see, the most obvious example is a piano, right? So we'll grab this cheesy ass piano, and then you could do something like this. just remember, you got so many tools, man. Just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to experiment with your MIDI. Like, it's only MIDI. You don't have to show this to anybody. It doesn't have to come out and be a banger straight off. Like, you shouldn't. If you're still at the point where you're watching my YouTube tutorials, for stuff like writing bridges and stuff like that, you're not going to be able to make a hit in a day. So take your time with it, move stuff around, understand that you're not going to be, a musical genius in a year, and just have fun experimenting. Because once you start being comfortable experimenting, moving notes around, and getting comfortable in the scale, something cool is going to happen to you very soon. Your ear is going to start to develop a taste for things that you like, and then before you know it, you're going to be coming up with your own chord progressions that express a musical personality that's inside you. And once you learn how to do that, that's when you start to make good music, because music is an expression of yourself. It isn't a copy of what's on the radio. And once you learn how to do that, then you're going to start to make beats that people want to fuck with, because you're going to be doing something that is a little bit different from what everybody else is doing. And contrary to popular belief, when you're working with artists, whether it be like around your local scene or you're submitting music, they're looking for something that's different. All right. So this is Concrete Zebra with Craftmaster Productions. I appreciate all you, and we'll see you on the next one.